Hey, Bob, we can hear your audio through. You're coming through. Yeah, you're coming through. Yeah, we're all set, so we're going to get started. We start our meetings through our Board of Commissioners. They're going to start by doing calling the meeting to order, saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and doing a roll call. And then, so if you could just follow the cues, you're about the fourth in line in the meeting of the items that we're going to do tonight.
Thank you.
Can everybody stand for the pledge, please?
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Mr. Needles, can you take roll call for the record, please?
Sure thing. Commissioner Bacco, Commissioner Godioso,
Here.
Commissioner Rakowski, Commissioner Neary, and myself, George Needles, present.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody out tonight for the Board of Commissioners special meeting being held tonight, September 24th. At this time, I'd like to take citizen comments. Residents who are not able to attend the meeting in person may comment by dialing in 267-332-8737. Again, the phone number is 267-332-8737, and the code to enter is 3348-710-14#. Again, the code is 3348-710-14#. State your name and address, then begin your comment. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak, and then you will be placed back on mute after your comment. Tonight's subject matter is the review of the Department of Community and Economic Development Fire Service Study. So I would take any comments on that topic tonight. First from via phone. We'll give it a minute or so. Let the record show there are no comments via phone. At this time, I will open up the citizens' comments to the people that are present tonight. If you like, please just state your name and address, even though that we might know you, just for the record so we can have it recorded. Mr. Needles will be handing the microphone to anybody that would like to speak. So I'll start on the right side of the room. Anybody at all would like to speak?
Just to note, there will be a second comment period, so if you have specific questions about the study or the presentation, I would take care of it during that period.
Anybody from the opposite side of the room? All right. All right, let the record show there's no citizens' comments at this time. As I stated earlier, tonight is the review of the Department of Community and Economic Development Fire Service Study. With us tonight from the DCED, we have Madron Clay, and the individual, the consultant who put the study together for the township, Bob Hayden, both with us virtually tonight. So with that, I'd like to turn over to the meeting to them so they can give their presentation. Bob, I'd like to once again thank you for being with us tonight. I just like to open up with one comment, and then there is questions that we would like to ask. I know the fire departments had started their consolidations a couple months ago, and my understanding is that everything is working out great. And you know, the township supports them working together, becoming one fire company. And my goal is that this will continue, and that the township here is to help out in any way to see this through. I know there's one question that we would like to open up with. I'm going to let Commissioner Rakowski start with that question, since he's our in charge of the fire companies.
Good evening, Bob. Yeah, I want to thank you also for the study itself, the committee. What I'd like to open up right now, because I know I have some questions that were given to me, but I would like the committee here that's here tonight, if they have the questions to, as I stated before, to give their questions first, since they've been on this committee from day one, to ask you their questions, because that was one of the reasons we've asked for this meeting was they wanted to meet with you to find out how you came up with your study. I know a lot of it's the data that you got from them and from the township, but I would like to start with the committee. If there's I know I have about 4, 6 of them here, whatever it might be. If they want to start out with the questions with you, and then the Board of Commissioners could finish it up, and then any other citizen comments, and we could take it. I got one question I would like to ask, but that would be at the end of the session. Thank you.
So,
Please state your name and address.
Jim Smith, 614 Dutton Street, Aston, PA. Bob, I guess there's a rumor around, or all you hear is, on a consolidation, is the state, do they help financially to the companies?
Yeah, but you're a member of any of the 3 fire companies? Or are you a member of the newly consolidated fire company?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm the president of Reliance.
Okay. The state and manager might have to come in here and, affirm or deny this, but there's no direct grants because of this study. You are certainly free to seek out your local state representative and state senator, and advise them of the study and let them see the conclusions of it and get their support in trying to get the state to grant whatever various funds they have through the fire commissioner's office or any other state resource to help you guys out as you move forward. But there's no direct grant tied to this study.
Okay, I think that's what everybody.
What Bob just said, there's no funding tied to, just because you received the study that DCED provides as a result of it. However, I will say that I have a list of funding resources that could potentially be available for you, and if anyone is interested in that, I can provide it to the municipality, and you can get a copy from them.
Okay, well, you clarified, because obviously there was a lot of rumors around about the money-wise. All right, thanks.
Ms. Kalidas, is Commissioner Rakowski. That was some of the questions I wanted to ask towards the end. We're jumping just a little bit, but I do appreciate the information that you do have. You could send that over to George Needles, our manager.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. When I'm going to go, George Needles, the manager of Upper Chichester Township.
Sure.
Thank you. Bob, I do have some questions here. It seems we had the one question out in the audience tonight. I received about 4 or 5 questions regarding the study. I'll give you the page number, and then I'll give you the question. A lot of the questions are coming off of page 3 for your information, so we're really in the beginning. There was a question on page 3 under the major recommendations. The study stated we should operate out of our existing stations. What was the reasoning? We should be operating out of our existing stations instead of, wait a minute, let me finish up, please. Instead of operating out of one, we are operating out of one station, and it seems to be working. Any reason why we shouldn't continue with this? That was the question. Thank you. There's another part of on another question sheet here on page 3 again. Was it taken in account where the members reside, the railroad 322 improvements, and the other township development and characteristics of the town? Okay, thank you. We still got about 4 or 5 more. Sorry about that. Another one for page 3 was, by the action taken to move the apparatus into Boothland Station, volunteers have been lost. What would you recommend to retain members? And was this also considered in the major recommendation on page 3? Thank you. We still have one more for page 3. In your study, um, did you take into consideration the distance members were located from each fire company, including proposed projects in the township? Was that included in the recommendation to run out of each location until one station was feasible, even as operating as one company?
Well, you know, if we were gonna, we did not study the location of each member of the fire companies, again, because, you know, that map would look, I think they've got members that live in Delaware. I'm not too sure, I recall some conversations that, you know, where people live. I'm sure there's some members they have that actually live outside of Upper Chichester. So, that was not taken into account. But again, the premise of the study was that, you know, once merged, or once operating out of their stations until they did merge, that they would go to the duty coverage model, and use that as the benchmark for evaluating people and their active commitment to company or companies.
Okay. It looks like I only have two other questions for the study, and the two other ones would be in reference to the Board of Commissioners. And once I'm done these two questions for the study, I'll hand it back over to the Board of Commissioners if they have any questions regarding the study. Your next page would be page 29. And the question would be manpower. The pool of volunteers continue to dwindle, yet in some case over 50 are acknowledging an alarm. It seems as though members are choosing calls to respond to. Is this a good number of volunteers, or what would be a reasonable target?
The goal should be to have as many active firefighters as the community can contribute. So there's certain people that want to be volunteer firefighters. Recruitment and retention is part of that, but as far as, you know, getting active people to respond to the fire apparatus, you know, during the day is always a challenge. But you know, during the day, as long as you're getting at least one staffed engine out with the minimum of 4 firefighters, that's doing pretty good in suburban Philadelphia. You know, in the evenings when the volunteers are home from their jobs, I think I did talk to Chief last, and he told me that I think they're getting three rigs out in the evening. So daytime is always a challenge. It's going to continue to be so. But I think that the amount of firefighters should be a minimum of 4 per apparatus. And during the daytime, getting one engine out to respond within Upper Chichester Township, and relying on the Delaware County U2A system, which I believe, you know, you are a part of. The other assets will be coming from other towns. So if you get a second or third rig out during the day, that would be an added bonus. But it's always going to be a balancing act between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. The one last question would be on page 111. Would be the last.
Give me a couple minutes there, Commissioner. That's pretty far back here. 111.
Okay, recommendation is to develop a retention and recruitment program, recognizing use of stipends, length of service, programs to recruit and retain. Can you provide examples? With what? Let me continue. Hold up, one more. I guess it's all one big thing here. Let me see real quick if I should do this. Now you can answer that. This is second part is the second part question on that. So you can answer that question.
I have 2 examples for you in suburban Philadelphia. One is the Trevose Fire Company, which got a SAFER grant through FEMA and the National Fire Academy. And they have developed a program where they're providing coverage 24/7, I would say over the last 4.5 years. So to do that, to accomplish that, they had to open up their membership. They opened the doors up, and as long as the folks passed the background check and had the qualifications that they are very successfully running a program at 24/7 right now. The other example I have is a little bit more limited, but it's still a stipend program, is Montgomery Township in Montgomery County. A little bit of disclosure, I did retire there as a career firefighter several months ago. I just want everybody to put that out there, and I did work at Montgomery Township. But they did have a volunteer stipend program where from 10 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. They pay the volunteers to be available on a platoon basis, similar to Station 4, also runs platoon basis, on a platoon basis weekly to cover shifts overnight. So it rotates by day through the week, and then next week the platoon rotation starts again. So there's other companies going to that model. Union Fire Company at Cornwall, Bucks County Station 16, which is also in Bensalem Township at the other end, exact opposite end from Three Rivers. They are starting a program very similar to Station 4. So there's some good examples of stipend programs out there that are very successful, Commissioner.
Thank you. And the last part of the question, it kind of ran into it a little bit. Would this plan be an important first step in making sure that the members of each company have a complete understanding of what to expect? There was an example here. It said, could use Ogden new truck that the members voted for before the trial and now will not even have a chance to use. One reason the purchase was made to boost the morale and participation. I guess I was basically running into the first one with the stipends and the recruit and retaining. They're just worrying about the boost of the morale of the new truck and using it and not being able to use it at the same time. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would step out of the objective just here a little bit, Commissioner, and say that truck belongs to the community.
Right.
Doesn't
Right.
specifically belong to
Right.
Ogden. I think over Chichester Township probably contributed to the funding of that, through the contributions to Station 55. Fully aware of the emotional investment in the new piece of apparatus, but it belongs to all the citizens there. And this study was done on behalf of the citizens. And it was also done to try and figure out what was the best suggestions to move the fire service forward. So I can understand the letdown of some firefighters that the new rig is not at Station 55. But right now, the three companies and the leadership of the new company see the wisdom in putting that new engine out of the Boothwood section. So I think that maybe some folks have to maybe step back and look at the greater good in terms of what's going on right now.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to the Board of Commissioners. That was all the questions I had. The two other questions are for the Board of Commissioners, but I'll have the Board of Commissioners be able to give you their comments and questions for your study. Thank you.
Commissioner Baca, would you like to make any comments? Commissioner Neary?
I'm sorry. I have 3 pages of notes, and a lot of them are technical in detail in terms of misspellings and things like that. But some of the things Ed has already, Commissioner Rakowski has already covered. But what I'd like to do is get them typed up and sent so that the report can be more accurately reflected.
Yeah, I guess the one thing I would like to add is just to reiterate what Bob Hayden was saying. I know there's very strong ties to individual fire companies, and I know there's pride with amongst the 3 fire companies that has been in their township for many, many years and decades. And I know this is something that the fire companies have worked for since I've been on the board for the past 9 years. I know it was discussed prior to that about consolidating and becoming one unit. So I would just encourage everybody just to keep the lines of communication open. You know, work to strive to become one unit, and just listen to each other's concerns, and just keep on build on the strength about becoming one fire company. And for those individuals that might, you know, have difficulties in doing that, reach out to them. Let them know how well things are going, and try to bring them into the fold. So, again, you guys have our support, and I hopefully this will continue. Thank you.
Okay, this is the last 2 questions are pretty much even what Mike was saying just now, Commissioner Gaudioso. This is to the Board of Commissioners. We wouldn't, just on my point of view as a Board of Commissioner, we wouldn't even not have an answer for some of these questions. One of the questions to the Board of Commissioners was, what are the options? What options are available to the fire department from the township to assist with the purchase of a new fire apparatus? I would like to put it on record here, and I know it's in the study here, and I know Commissioner Neary's probably read it too myself. I would like to see some kind of a plan. The study states 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years, 7 to 10. Not just something that, hey, how are we going to pay for this? What are we going to pay? How are we going to do it? I think it's time, and I agree with Michael. I'm putting it on record on Zoom with the people in this room because I'm tired of hearing it out on the street. So I'm going to put it on record, and I'm not going to listen to it again. This board has been 110% behind anything you guys have done. All of us, especially myself. I'm the one who's tried to get these guys to do this. We're doing this. And the main question for Ms. Clay for DCED at the end is basically what was touched base by Jim, was our next step is to get Upper Chichester Fire Department into one building. That's our goal, everybody's goal. And I think this board is stepping there. We may not be here in 3 years, but at least if we could get that plan set in stone and going, I don't think you're going to have any issues with whoever sits up here. Just like, even back in 1983, we had, I don't even put the numbers out there, it was 300,000 volunteers. We're down to 50. We're probably down to less than 50,000 in the state of Pennsylvania. We know it's here. You got our attention. We want the open communication. Like I said, I don't know what else we could do until we set up and have a plan, get it going, keep it moving. As Bob said, he was ecstatic when he called me, knowing that you guys did the operational plan. This Board of Commissioners overwhelmingly said, yeah, good, that's great, that's good for the community. Nobody's against this. We don't need to hear this, that we, the Board of Commissioners, are against this. We will work with you. But it's all memberships, all 3 fire companies, all members get the involvement. How do we do this? I don't know. I could tell you this, out of the years I've been involved with it, and we all know it sitting here, especially the committee, there's been consolidations, and they still lose members, and we're still down to the shortage of 10 people, 15 people. We need to be prepared for Upper Chichester Township, and that's my goal. I don't want them not having something if I'm not up here, and then we got to go to the taxpayers and say, guess what, we need $1 million to build a firehouse, and the people are like, no, we need to start maybe finding somebody in the community to be on this committee. Look at the study. Membership, look at this study. It's a lot of stats. It's a lot of stats on the census that came here. Stuff that we gave them, the township, that George gave, and the chiefs. I had nothing to do with this study. It was all them and the committee. So we have no idea how we're going to fund this. There was talk in the past about a tax. Mr. Neary was part of that, about a millage, and it never happened. And not to blame him, but nothing came to us to really figure out what the number was. Is it different times now? Absolutely. So I, as the chairman of this committee, would like to see us to sit down and try to get 3 to 5 year, 5 to 7 year, 7 to 10, whatever it takes. You're in the right direction. I want to keep moving. And my last question to, it's not going to Bob, it's going to Miss Clay, is our goal is to get Upper Chichester Fire Department into one building in Upper Chi to serve the public. We've been volunteering for 100 years. What can they do for us? Technically, whatever, anything to help us proceed our next step after this study. Thank you.
That,
Yes, I'm here, Bob. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're right, Bob. You're right about the economics and everything, but I won't say unfortunately, but COVID and everything, we can't keep blaming COVID, but we will. But we understand that with the tax millage and everything, but Delaware County just had a reassessment throughout the whole county, so we're not even quite sure where our numbers are with that ourselves. We haven't gotten that back. The millage is definitely going to change. We don't know exactly what the millage is. I'm sure the expertise of Commissioner Neary will get us through this, and then that gives us a better idea of where we stand. And same way with the committee, we could figure out how if that's the avenue to go on a certain millage for the fire department. But no, I appreciate that.
So at this time, I'd like to reopen citizen comments via the phone. If there's anybody that has a comment after hearing this presentation tonight, again, the phone number is 267-332-8737. The phone number is 267-332-8737, and the dial-in number is 3348-710-14#. Again, the code is 3348-710-14#. Please state your name and address and begin your comment. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak and then placed back on mute after you are finished. So I will give a minute for citizen comments via the phone. Let the record show there are no comments via phone. At this time, I'll open up citizens' comments to the members that are present. Would anybody like to make any comments? Anybody from the right side of the room? Anybody from the left? I'll give it one more shot. All right, let the record show there are no citizen comments. I'd like to thank Ms. Clay and Mr. Hayden for being with us tonight. I thank you for your hard work and your time that you spent explaining everything to the commissioners tonight and the members of the fire companies and to our citizens. With that said, can I have a motion to adjourn? All right, hold up.
I held my comments to the end. I've been on the board like 10 years now, and the talk of the merge has been going on the whole time I've been here. And I never wanted to be put in the position to have to force this. I always wanted it to come because the 3 fire companies wanted it, and I'm glad to see you guys are doing it, moving forward with it. And it's a thankless job. I don't know how you can get anybody to do it. And thanks for all the hard work you do.
I think the whole board echoes that. So just keep on pushing forward. Like I said, just keep the lines of communication open, and let's make this a successful merger. Have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Motion accepted.